Good afternoon, welcome to Scarborough, and what a lovely day for cricket. I didn't honestly think I was going to be able to say that this morning when we woke here in Scarborough. It was a bit grey and grizzly, it was raining, believe it or not. But true to this summer, the rain has relented, mercifully it's gone away. We've had cricket promptly starting at 12:45 in the Refuge Assurance Sunday League game between Yorkshire and Worcestershire. It promises to be an absolutely cracking game. Yorkshire's captain Phil Carrick won the toss, he elected to bat, and I'll let our commentators, Geoffrey Boycott and Martin Tyler, tell you how the first hour has gone. Martin.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, everyone. 87 for 4 Yorkshire after 24 overs, and Kevin Sharp is steering the Yorkshire ship through some rather troubled waters. He opened the batting, he's 42 not out, and you can see his contribution from the scorecard there. Richard Illingworth bowling from the pavilion end. Martin Moxon is the other batsman, but he came in at number 6. And certainly Yorkshire had the worst of the weather to bat in. It was, as John Helm was saying, very overcast and drizzly. Not to affect really the playing area. But it's only in the last 20 minutes or so that the sun has come out at Scarborough. Yorkshire had a problem when Stuart Fletcher reported ill, so they brought Neil Hartley into the side. Worcestershire without the injured Neil Radford. And, of course, more long-term injuries, Paul Pridgeon and Phil Newport. And as you saw a moment ago, Ian Botham is here. But good afternoon to Jeff Boycott. And, Jeff, it's been a bit of a struggle for Yorkshire.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, it is just a little struggle for Yorkshire at the moment. This is the moment they want to be accelerating. And they keep trying shots. Kevin Sharp's just got a little bit bogged down by hitting the fielders regularly with some pretty good shots. Philip Robinson was just a little out of sorts in making 16 runs. And now a new batsman comes in with 4 wickets down, and Yorkshire just in that in-between period. Quick single there from a nice drive and misfield. But they're in an awkward situation where there's 25 overs gone. They'd like to be just accelerating, moving forward, trying to take the game away from Worcestershire, but they've lost 4 wickets.
We'll show you the wickets that have gone down in between overs. It's still Ian Botham. Botham's 5th over, 0 for 16. He's been gesturing up to Jeff Boycott in very familiar fashion in our commentary box. Lots of smiles. And enjoying, like all the players here, playing in front of a packed house. I was reading in a colour supplement yesterday that Scarborough is a comfortable blend of vulgarity and gentility. Their words, not mine. Maybe we could say the same about Sunday League cricket. Slightly in the air, but falling short of Phil Neal. Stuart Lampitt coming in from long off, restricting Yorkshire to a single. One of the lesser-known faces in the Worcestershire side, an all-rounder, but he hasn't had a tilt with the ball yet. Graham Dilley and Martin Weston were the opening bowlers, and Martin Weston rather stole the show. 8 overs, 2 for 25. Well, Martin Moxon supposedly down the order because he doesn't score quickly enough to start things off on a Sunday. But really, by virtue of orthodox batting Jeffrey, he can get the scoreboard moving.
Well, Martin Moxon's a very good clean striker of the ball. I don't think it really matters to him where he bats. I think the most important thing from Yorkshire's point of view, Ashley Metcalf and Kevin Sharp, who open the innings, prefer to open. They're not so good lower down the order.
Moxon labouring to get there, and they look a lot of Yorkshiremen involved there. The wicketkeeper Stephen Rhodes, the umpire Barry Leadbeater, and the batsman Martin Moxon. Rather slow to set off for the second run, but he got there. 97 for 4. 26th over. Well, the first wicket to go was that of Ashley Metcalf. It was the 6th over of the innings, bowled by Martin Weston. And he mishit, trying to go over the top, and Richard Illingworth able to take the catch. That was 24 for 1. And Metcalf caught Illingworth, bowled Weston for 11. They have won 6 of their last games on Sunday. Oh, that's a delightful shot from Moxon. Well, sometimes they just open the face and run the ball down past third man, but that was a genuine, almost old-fashioned late cut for Richard Blakey. He'd made only 5, and again it was Martin Weston, the bowler. Chasing a swinging wide half volley, Stephen Rhodes taking the catch, and Yorkshire were 30 for 2. And I suppose just one bad moment for him was the running out of David Byas. Martin Weston again centre stage as the bowler. And Sharp looks as though he's setting off. Byas certainly thinks he's going to do that. Slips, can't get back, and Phil Neal whipped off the bails. Be interested Jeff Boycott's opinion on that run out.
Well, I think what did it was young Byas actually got his right foot on the green uncut area, and it slipped. He went down, and he just couldn't recover his balance in time enough to turn round and get back and beat the throw. That was the problem. He got off the cut area onto the grassy area, and his right foot slipped from beneath him.
Illingworth to Moxon. 112 for 4. Yorkshire looking to accelerate. So Martin Moxon, 29 now, and his best Sunday performance earlier this season. Oh, and it did carry to short third man, and a very good catch down by his bootlaces by Stuart Lampitt. And a feature of Worcestershire's season, with a lot of players injured and test calls disrupting their selections. The young players have come in and contributed, like Lampitt. And that was a very adroit catch that sees the back of Martin Moxon, Jeff, just when he was looking set.
Yes, I know he'll be disappointed at getting out there, Martin Moxon, but to be quite honest, he can't be too unhappy with the way he's played. I thought he's played a nice little cameo innings at a time when Yorkshire needed to try and score.
Good out cricket from Worcestershire. Short of a length, and Neil Hartley was onto it quick enough. Graham Hick has had to work hard out on that boundary. and has fielded very capably. You tend to neglect his other qualities when you look at his batting statistics. Well, he's doing good work towards that target. 56 now to Sharp. Robinson a little out of sorts with his batting. He's not been very well recently, and he hadn't played particularly well, and he just skied an attempt to hit to leg up for Ian Botham to make an easily judged catch. Well, Rhodes very much the action man, and Jeff Boycott, he was a colleague of yours for a while here, Stephen Rhodes, and had to look for his fame elsewhere.
I think he's a very good keeper. He's ebullient, he's cocky, confident, chirpy. He reminds me of Wasim Bari, the great Pakistani wicket-keeper. I think it was sad from Yorkshire's point of view. He had to go. I mean, there was nobody in the club that wasn't sad about it. But in a cricket team, you've only got one wicket-keeper. We have David Bairstow, who's been a long, great player for the club. Good batsman as well. You just can't play two in the side. I think Stephen will do well. I think he'll have a wonderful career. I think he'll go on very shortly to play for England, actually.
He's been making useful runs as well recently, which will help his cause in that respect. Making the runs for Yorkshire here, Neil Hartley.
Crossbat sweeps.
He faces Graham Dilley.
And yet we saw Martin Moxon, who came in and played a nice little cameo innings, hitting the spinner over the top of extra cover with a straight bat, hitting it straight. When he bowled it short, then he played a lovely late cut, which was reminiscent of Leonard Hutton at his best. And I think we haven't seen enough orthodox shots, except from Kevin Sharp.
Tim Curtis. Jeff, you've seen Ian Botham in various parts of the world, in various shapes and sizes, but I would say he's looking pretty fit.
Yes, I have. I think he looks excellent. I think he looks very athletic at the moment. That serious injury put him out of the game for nearly a year. I think has probably said, you know, to him, well, look, I've really got to get myself in shape, else my career's going to be finished. I mean, he's always had a great physique. He's had great shoulders for a bowler. I mean, look at those very powerful shoulders, and his bottom or backside, again, very powerful, strong football legs, and big in the back. That's what you want to see. Freddie Truman was just like that, big in the shoulders, the backside, strong back, and strong legs. That's what you really need for a fast bowler. And Both's been one of, to me, in my 25 years in the game, one of the all-time greats, probably the second best all-rounder I've ever seen to Garfield Sobers.
Connected with that, he would have had 6, but instead it's a 6th wicket and a 3rd for Illingworth. Neil Hartley realising the need for very quick runs down the wicket, beaten in the air and bowled by the slow left armour.
Well, it's a simple straight bat, cross-bat slog, when I feel that a straight bat shot would have served him better. Got long off and long on out. He is a good straight hitter, is Neil. That's what I was saying 5 minutes ago. We haven't seen enough straight bat shots. Martin Mox and Kevin Sharp have been successful hitting the ball straight, using the full face of the bat.
I'd just like to think that we could maybe just pick up the momentum a little bit more now in the last few overs. Sharpie's done well to get 68, but we've just lost wickets at the wrong time. We just needed to consolidate a little bit in the middle of the innings of the big arenas.
Single. Yorkshire do need to be finding the boundary rope a time or two. Interesting point raised last week about the boundaries in these Sunday League matches. One player took a catch even though he'd fallen over a hoarding. And of course, if you put your foot against the rope, the catch doesn't count, but you can actually fall on a hoarding and it still counts.
Does that mean where actually the hoarding is on the ground. I mean, sometimes if the sight screen is actually on the edge of the line, then it's got to clear the sight screen for 6 as well.
Full toss and dispatched by Phil Carrick. There's no stopping that one. Well, the little boy managed to stop it. The little boy in a red cap. Excellent piece of fielding by him, and that's the sort of thing that Yorkshire need.
Yeah, there's Boff there striving to get it as full as he could in the block hole, and he got it just a little bit too full. Made an easy hit for the captain.
Oh, he's really gone for the big one, and he's profited through the slip region instead. Well, that's quite an extraordinary shot, but a typical Sunday one. The 150 came up off 217 balls, and the last 50 off 52.
Well, it's not a shot that pleases the bowler, but when you're having a mow at the end in a 40-over game, sometimes those are the best shots you can play.
He'd have been happy with it himself. So 8 from 2 balls. Nothing for that one though. Right into the block hole and fired into that awkward. Well, again, Phil Carrick goes for the big hoik on the onside, and he's beaten Hick again. 4 more, and what a good over for Yorkshire. Even Rhodes clapping his hands, but I don't think it's at the batsman. It certainly wasn't at the bowler.
A bit of encouragement there from Rhodesy, but I mean, Phil Carrick there's picked up a couple of good shots there from Ian Botham, firing it in down the leg side, just getting it a little bit too full to get them to the full toss region, and he's clipped them away very well there through mid-wicket for 4. Phil collected a note and I only got 1, so he won't want to be reminded of that day.
Excellent strike from Kevin Sharp. That's going to beat Oliveira straight into the crowd. It was all along the ground, and his captain applauds him, and well he might. And Kevin Sharp is playing just the sort of knock that Yorkshire required of him. He's been in from the start.
Yeah, that was a good shot from Sharpie there. Pitched up and he clipped it very well through mid-wicket, wide of Graham Dilley, and Damien Oliveira had no chance of picking up.
Well, if he carries on like this, it'd be nice to see him get to 3 figures. He's fit to go. He's on 79 now. He has made 200s in Sunday League games, with a highest of 114 against Essex 4 years ago. Again the full toss, and again Phil Carrick says thanks very much. It smacks into the hoarding, and it's 6 runs. Almost a flat bat approach to it, but it had the desired effect.
Yep. Once again we saw then that Ian Botham trying to get it as full as he could into the block hole, but just got it that little bit too high. Phil Carrick advancing down the wicket and striking exceptionally well there.
Very much shorter delivery, but he's got rid of it again in the perfect position. Over fine leg who'd come in. 4 more, and Ian Botham's figures now must be quite interesting. He's gone for 53 runs in 7 and a bit overs.
I think Phil will be happy with that, because both ran in and he saw him just bowl a slower ball, which is a lot shorter, and he picked it up well over Scott fine leg there.
15 off the over so far. Interesting bit of cricket.
One could say that, John. I think if he'd have connected with that, he'd have gone a long way.
Oh, Carrick is terrorising both of them now. It's into the crowd again. 4 more. Excellent cricket from the Yorkshire captain. And Phil Neal will not be too happy about Ian Botham's over. He's really carried the fight to Worcestershire, the Yorkshire captain, who was rattled on to 35 not out.
Yeah, that was another fine shot there. They'll be quite happy. I mean, Phil Neal won't be happy with Ian Botham, but I think Phil can be very happy with himself. He's getting us to a score now that can be quite easily defended. I mean, we know that Scarborough's not a very big ground to defend a total, but if you can get just over 200 and apply a bit of pressure, you're always in with a shout.
Phil Carrick went about 3 feet to his left, the ball went about another 3 feet to the right, and he found himself very remote.
Well, you can see there, I mean, I don't know whether you could hear in the background there, the crowd shouting wide, but Phil advanced outside leg stump, and McEwen bowled it virtually straight, just missing off stump. So there's no way that Barry Lebby could give a wide there.
Oof, he's got hold of that one, and that is straight into the stand. Over mid-wicket, 6 more. Many happy returns indeed. Well, his batting actually seems to be flourishing in the twilight of his career, dare I say.
He's playing exceptionally well, I must confess. If he does beat his career best, John, it'll cost him a round of drinks for the boys, so I hope he realises that.
Well, 5 fours, 2 sixes. He's gone to 41 in 19 deliveries. A loud shout for LBW from Stephen Rhodes. Nobody else joined in.
I think that was sheer optimism there from Rhodesy. Firing it in, obviously missing leg stump there. Sometimes appeal there when you're keeping wicket to try and stop the batsman from running, just to give him something else to think about.
Kevin Sharp tries to emulate his captain, but a fine innings is over. The catch is taken by Botham, who shows the ball to the crowd. But what a good job Kevin Sharp has done for Yorkshire this afternoon. He opened the innings with Ashley Metcalf, and a very good knock indeed. And he's got a right to smile. 80 runs off 101 balls, 6 fours. And isn't it good to see Kevin Sharp coming back to something like his best form?
Kept going there, John, very well actually, in the circumstances where we've lost batsmen at the other end. And he's done well there to keep chipping away and get 80 runs. We're just a couple of wickets to 40 for 1 or something, and you're in with a chance.
Oof, he really larricked that one, and it went straight through the fielder. And that fielder, Ian Botham, is on his knees.
Yeah, that was a fine shot there. Got away to the leg side, get himself some room and hammered it through extra cover.
Phil Carrick has his best Sunday League performance, and how nice it would be if he could cap it now with his first Sunday 50. Paul Toss has given him every chance, but it's just a 1 down to Illingworth, who wins his hand ruefully. Stephen Rhodes wasn't accurate enough then. And so the end of the innings, and Phil Carrick unfortunately stranded on 48 not out. Side bottom is 1 not out. And the Yorkshire captain is ensured a rapturous reception back to the Yorkshire dressing room. He's led his side from the front. 204 for 7 than the Yorkshire tally. And I would think they'll be quite pleased to have reached that figure. It is a target for Worcestershire. Like the batsmen like Hick and Curtis, Botham, Neil. Worcestershire cannot be counted out of it by any means. And so Phil Carrick goes into the dressing room for a well-earned breather. Well, Yorkshire, who chose to bat, started with Kevin Sharp and Ashley Metcalf, and